Hello, my stitchy and crafty friends. Happy Mother's Day to those who celebrate. Here in the US especially, I know the UK celebrates at a different time of the year. So today is May 13th. This is take 2. We may even have to make it to take 3. We will see. I feel like I have been MIA. It has been a manic May so far, and I'm not just talking about Stitch Mania. So I thought I would give a quick life update. I will answer a couple of questions that I had from my previous video and share some things that I have received, and then we'll quick get into my Mania projects so far. So quick life update. This morning I helped my daughter pack up her car, and she is on her way to, actually she's driving to Pittsburgh tonight, getting up tomorrow, driving to Connecticut, and then the next day driving on to Maine. It's been a bittersweet day. I'm so happy that she is doing what she's doing, but of course I will miss her terribly. Yeah. So we spent the last 2 weeks trying to get her household goods organized and moved here. We didn't quite make it to the point of cleaning out her apartment, so I need to finish that up these next couple of weeks and finish up school. I've got 7 more school days left, and then I can take a long, deep breath over the summer. I now have a cat. You guys have seen him before, my little Morris. He may or may not make an appearance. He's in the bedroom sleeping at the moment. So that has been kind of life-changing for me. I've kept him overnight at times before and for a month before, but this is kind of semi-permanent until she comes back home to move elsewhere, at which time hopefully she will get to enjoy his company then. So yeah, that's kind of been completely different for me. I may have to make some lifestyle changes in my home because he likes this display as much as you guys seem to. Okay, speaking of that, I had a question regarding this stitch piece, and I stitched this back in 1997. It is by Told in the Garden. And it is called The Garden. And I think I just used the called for thread and most likely stitched it on sage on what looks like to be a 14 count Aida. Clearly I had a thing for Told in the Garden back in the day because I have quite the little stockpile, and this is the only one I've actually stitched. But I thought I would share them with you because they're beautiful and I still love them. And I love having them in my collection, obviously. This one is called Grandmother's House. Amish Kids. So some of these I purchased at a place called the Covered Bridge, which was in Nashua, New Hampshire. So that time frame would have been the early 90s. And then some of them I purchased at a place called the Counted Thread, which was in El Paso, Texas. And that would have been the 97, 98 time frame. So I spanned a few states with my purchases here. This one is called Strawberries Forever. And a bell pull called Simple Gifts. Home of a Quilter. The Country Store. The Auction. Love that one with all the quilts. Another one with several quilts. Blueberry Homecoming. And more quilts. The Barn Raising. And this one I opened for some reason, probably just to check it out. Settler's Sampler. Amish Quilt Sampler. Amish Welcome. And this is by the same lady, but under the Butternut Road name. And I really, really want to stitch this one, but it's going to have to wait until after Mania. And it's called Summer Sampler. This may be my first real conversion, because this calls for 15 skeins of watercolor thread by Karen Collection. I don't know, we'll see. I really like the way it looks on there. We'll see. So there's that. The other question I had, and thank you all for such lovely comments on my last video. I had a question about the nail polish that I was wearing, which clearly I'm not wearing any now because ain't nobody had time for that lately. But this is called Master Plan. Make sure I have it going the right way. And it is by Essie. It's a really nice neutral. So there's that. Next up, I have a lovely share and a lovely gift. I was watching Teresa, also known as Kitten Stitcher, one of my favorite floss tubers ever, and she had shared a finish of hers by Blackbird Designs, and it was this, which were the bonus charts from the some of the Loose Feathers collection. And I fell head over heels in love with it. I started searching online, and the patterns were going anywhere from $30 to up to $100. I'm like, And she so graciously offered to share them with me so that I can stitch this piece. She sent a lovely, look at this beautiful card, which is from Birds of a Feather. How gorgeous is that? With a sweet note on the inside. Thank you, Teresa. But wait, that's not all. She sent me this as a gift. Mary Bate, 1796. This is one of her reproduction samplers. And the picture's kind of dark, but oh my goodness, the sentiment on it is absolutely beautiful. And I'm gonna stitch this. Thank you, Teresa. I love it. You're too kind. I appreciate it. It's just beautiful. Okay. So now, one thing I've learned this May is not to make plans because nothing has gone according to plan. I had planned to come back after the first week of Stitch Mania and do an update. I can't remember what happened, but the video didn't happen. Something has been going on, whether it's a school-related issue or a moving issue, a cat issue. Something has stopped me but I did manage to stitch at least a little bit every day, and I'm going to share with you the first 10 starts of Mania. I'm going to hold off on the other 3 that I have started. I did manage to put a few stitches in this morning before I went to help my daughter pack her car, and hopefully I'll get a few more this afternoon. But my very first start, and it's almost a finish. You're not going to believe how close it is to a finish, and why haven't I finished it? Well, life. Ginny Bean's Pen Tuffet by Shakespeare's Peddler. I am stitching this. Oh, this is what I've decided to do, and I think maybe I saw someone else do this a while back, and I'm sorry if you were the one doing it, that I'm not giving you credit. This is, I'm pretty sure this is not my original idea. I'm keeping my information on these cards for the purposes of my videos, just so that I will have quick access to tell you what I'm stitching it on, the name, the day I started, all that good stuff. So I'm stitching this on 40 count vintage light exemplar by Lakeside Linens with the Call for Gentle Arts, and I'm stitching it 1/2. And here is where I got to. So all I have left is the rest of the outer border. It was actually a very quick stitch, but something happened and I didn't get to finish that border, which I will hopefully before the next video. Okay, on May 2nd, I picked up a previous whip. Let me move some of this out of the way. Called Sarah N. Cotty Sampler. And this is from the, which I forgot to write down. Hang on, let me show you the picture first. And then I can tell you that it comes from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, the Spring 2017 edition. I am stitching this on 36 count Earth from Hand Dyed Fibers by Vicki Clayton that I added some dye to it myself. So when last you saw this, I just had a small little bit of this line border going across, so I went ahead and I went up and I filled these little flowers in. And I'm stitching this with Gentle Arts Call for Threads 1/2, again on 36 count linen. And I'm loving the colors of the Gentle Arts on that one. On May 3rd, I started stitching 3 Black-Eyed Susans from Brenda Gervais. And I am stitching this on, this was a new start, 1/2 on 40 count Cocoa. And is that Weeks Dye Works, I think, maybe? I was kind of sad to have to stop because I like the colors on that one too. Okay, on May 4th, I started, hang on, got to pull this one out. Okay, well, there. Lady Liberty by You and I and Friends. And this was a gift from Michelle. And I am stitching this one on 25 count even weave, 1/1, using the Call for DMC. And that also was a new start. Another new start is this Cherry Hollow Farm by Stacy Nash. It came in a kit. It was kitted with 36 count beige linen and all the threads. And here's my progress on this one. So I got the basket of apples complete. Okay, on May 5th, no, I'm sorry, that was May 5th. On May 6th, I got a good start on Stitch Over 2, Hands-On Design. This is a new release from Nashville. And this is my start, which is on a random 32 count. It would call for 32 count linen. I'm going to be cutting this so that, and dyeing part of this so that I can get this upper portion done in a darker color. So I'm stitching this one 2/2 with mostly Call for Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works, but I switched out my Aztec, which was the red, for a Gentle Arts Schoolhouse red, because my Aztec was more pink, like really pink, with very little red in it, and I just wanted my strawberry to be more red. But hopefully I will then move on to these two when I finish this part. On May 7th, oops, I started another new start from Blackbird Designs. Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? Doing this one so far. And this is actually, for what little time I felt like I really had on May 7th, I got quite a bit done. Using the Call for Gentle Arts on a 32 count Winter's Brew by R&R, and 1/2 on a 32 count. And I love that look. I always felt like I had to stitch with 2 threads on a 32 count, but I'm liking the look of the 1 thread on the 32 count even. Anxious to get back to that one. May 8th, pulled out one from Stitch Maynia 2017, Vintage Birds. And I believe the last time you saw it, I only had a few of these letters done. So I finished up the rest of the bottom row of alphabet and put in the 2 birds. And this is being stitched on 36 count Legacy, 1/2, with the Call for Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works. So I'm anxious to get back to that. I fell in love with this the first time that I saw it. I'm still loving it. I love the vintage feel of it. Okay, the vintage look of it. Then another previous start, Bee Study by Kathy Barrick. And let's see if I can remember where I had gotten to. Let's see here. I don't know. Oh, I do know. I finished up, you can't see it, it's hidden under here, and I'm not going to take it apart. But I finished filling in whatever part of the border that I didn't have done, and I went in here and did this part. And again, it's upside down. Not that it really matters at this point. I do have some stitching up here under the scroll. And this one is being stitched on 40 count, another hand-dyed fiber by Vicki Clayton, 1/2, using the Call for MPI silks. Another one that I love. And then day 10, not a lot of progress on this. Another Shakespeare's Peddler, Fractor Bird, and I bought the kit for this, which included the fibers, and I am stitching it on Willow Green, 32 count, 1/2 again, although I think she stitched it 2/2, but I just decided to go with the 1/2 on this one, and that's as far as I got on it. Not very far at all. But I thought that that looked like a pretty good match to her call for linen, which she doesn't say what it is, just that it's a 32 count hand dyed. But I had this in my stash, so why not use it? I think I haven't purchased any. I purchased a few flosses to fill in, but I haven't had to purchase any fabric for any of my Mania pieces. I've just pulled from my stash, which makes me happy. So that's it for the first 10 days of Mania. I hope to be back with, I think maybe I'll just go ahead and wait and do a video after my second 10. We'll see what happens. Given that I have 7 more days of school, which is actually 9 days, 9 actual days if you count the weekend. Yeah, I think I'll do 10 more days before I come back for a next update. And then we'll see about the last 11, how that goes. If life would stop getting in the way of my stitching, I would be really happy. Don't we all feel that way sometimes? Okay, friends, I think that's it. I have not had an opportunity to comment on all your lovely comments. I have read them all, and I know I watched Teresa Little Stitcher's video the other day, and she was asking the same thing that I have been thinking for a long time. I love replying to all of your comments, and I want to let you all know that I read every single one, unless it occasionally goes into the spam folder, which I always forget to check. I love reading them. I appreciate every single one of them. But there are some times in my life that I can't reply to every single one of them, even though I wish I had the time to. So I guess I have the same question that Teresa Little Stitcher had, and that is that if there's a specific question, I will most definitely either answer it by a written answer or on another video. If it's just one of your lovely, lovely, kind comments, there might be times that I simply have only enough time to give you a heart, to let you know that yes, I've seen it and that I appreciate it. I hope that those times are not often. But let's face it, I mean, this, you know, most of us do this as a hobby. And while I'd love to do this full time, it's just not financially possible. A girl's still got to eat, right? And sometimes work gets in the way. I mean, since we last talked, I've been on, I think it's been 5 field trips, and we're talking about all day long field trips, not just a little quick trip to the local zoo or something. It's been an all day field trip. So by the time I got home, after being outside or just outside of the classroom, is very stressful, because the chance of something happening to your students increases when you're out and about. And so the stress of that, by the time I'd get home, I was just like, I'm exhausted. I can barely even put one foot in front of the other because I'm just mentally and physically exhausted. So that's a long way around of saying I apologize for not responding to all of your comments, but I do want to let you know that I see them as they come in. They make me smile. They make me laugh. Sometimes they make me cry, but every single one of them gets read and is appreciated. And hopefully I will get back on track and be able to reply to every single one of you, because I feel like that's important. You've taken the time to watch me and to comment, and I want to let you know that I appreciate that. So please don't be offended if I just give you a heart for a little while. But no, please know that I appreciate you. With that said, thank you again for stopping by, and I hope to be back next weekend for another update. So until then, I wish you all well and happy stitching. Bye.